Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, geremet, terve, and marapan. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 94 of the podcast, Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM. An inspiring venture where we will be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Ms. Gudrun Edhofer, who is a maths and history teacher from Austria. She has been teaching for 26 years and still enjoys every single lesson with her classes. Her main goals as a teacher are to ignite her students' curiosity about learning, to show them the world beyond the classroom, and help them become well-educated and happy adults. Well, it's my absolute honor to have you here, Gudrun. So, how are you doing today?
Thank you very much. And first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. It is my first one and it will be really a good journey. Thank you.
I'm absolutely honored to have you on my podcast as well. So before we begin, we would love to know, more about you and your journey to explore EdTech. So can you share about that?
My journey to EdTech started about more or less 15 years ago. It was very funny because it was a Saturday, the first day of my summer break. And I was sitting on my couch and surfing in the web and looking for new things for education. And then I found this program called Onenote. First, I couldn't imagine how to use it, as all the examples were language lessons, and I'm a math teacher. Then I got to know Kurt Söser. He is a teacher at an economics school in my country, and he is a math teacher. And that was then the moment when the penny has dropped for me. I had to use this OneNote, and I have been doing it since that time. And over the years, I've been doing attended many workshops and webinars to learn as much as possible, because I really want to learn very much. And I can't imagine teaching without Onenote and Teams any longer. So it's part of my life, of my teaching life.
That is indeed amazing that, your journey started about 15 years ago. And like you said that during the summer break, when you were sitting on your couch and you first encountered OneNote while surfing through the web about different educational tools. And you explored more tools and your passion grew as you attended workshops, webinars, and you also integrated tools like Teams into your teaching, leading to a deeper exploration about technology's potential in education. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Right. So my next question for you is, how do you believe technology, specifically Microsoft tools, like you've used them, have transformed teaching and learning in the classrooms?
Well, actually, OneNote is one of my favorite tools from Microsoft. And I know that Microsoft has many more wonderful tools, but one of the most important advantages is that students can look up my lessons anytime they want. So if they're ill and just have a broken leg, they can follow my lessons from at home. The contents are not erased anymore from the blackboard. And as a math teacher, I also try to support my students with sometimes the short videos where I explain some examples once again. And I embed these videos then on the OneNote pages. And so my students can watch these videos on their speed and as often as they want and as often as they need to. And especially if we have a test, they really called for these videos because they really wanted to learn more. And as I've been using OneNote and Teams for the last 10 to 15 years, my students also know how to work with these programs. And so when the pandemic hit us and we had to switch to learning, nothing changed students. So except we were sitting at home and in front of a computer. This was the only difference by then. And but to come back to your question, how the Microsoft tools transform teaching and learning, I think no kid will be excluded from learning any longer, because you just need electricity and a device. And of course, I do know that there are still places who can't afford or don't have enough electricity and devices. But I think we are definitely on the right path to be able to reach out for more kids every day. And I think the more educated children are, the better it will be for our future.
Indeed, that's absolutely rightly said by you. You've explained, that Microsoft tools have revolutionized classrooms by providing students with accessible and organized resources. And like you said, lessons and content remain available for review, allowing the students to learn at their own pace through short videos that you always embed in OneNote for them. And especially it helps them a lot during the tests because they can come back and reflect themselves in a non-threatening environment and perform self-evaluations as well. And even during the pandemic, students were able to, keep the learning up without any disruption, ensuring that no student is left behind. And these tools, like you said, create the right path to engage and reach more students inclusively.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My next question for you is, what are your top three favorite tools and how have they helped you enhance student engagement and learning outcomes?
Well, I think it has become obvious that I love OneNote. The second tool I use is collaboration with Teams. Last year, I had a 12th form. The students are about 17 to 18 years old and taking their A-levels. And I'm always eager to try new things. So my students are more or less my guinea pigs. They're laughing at it when I say, ladies and gentlemen, there's something new I want to use. And they're really laughing at it because they know what is coming. So the Austrian school system is a little bit different from the English and the American system because they have more courses and projects, and our system is a little bit more linear. And so I set up a classwork, which is new in Teams, where you can put all things together for one topic in as one project, more or less. And I did this on a historic topic, and they had to watch videos, write reports, and fill out forms, and so on. But my main goal was to try to teach them not only, of course, the topic, but also how to learn how to organize themselves, their times, and the tasks. So the only thing besides the topic itself, I set up a time frame. But within this time frame, they organized themselves, and they also had to write a reflection on what went well and where they had to struggle. And afterwards, we talked about it in class. And below the line, they all said it was very interesting for them to see how they work and how successfully they were in organizing themselves. And they were also not used to reflect on their working, as this is not very common in Austrian schools. So it was very interesting how this worked. But at the end, we were all proud of it, what they did, and of the outcome. Yes, and the tool, sorry, there are three tools. And this tool is more or less very or completely new to me. These are the reading coach and the presenter coach. And I tried those in an 8th form. They are about 14 years old, also with a historic topic. They had to read a text and then also do the forms. And some of my students were really astonished as they realized how good or not so good. And I will for sure use these coaches more often now, just to give them the opportunity to learn and practice and get better and better.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's amazing that you've highlighted your top three tools as OneNote, Teams, and the reading and presenter coaches, which have significantly improved student engagement and learning outcomes for you. Like you've mentioned about OneNote allowing students to access content and review lessons at their own pace. Teams, which helps them to organize classwork and enhances collaboration. And the use of all these tools focuses on, teaching vital skills to students like organization, time management, enabling us to, manage our learning within the set time frames, and again will help to foster more of reflective learning. Thank you. How has being part of the MI expert community contributed to your professional growth as an educator?
Well, thank you very much for this question. And it will take a little bit longer to answer it. I would not still be as passionate about teaching as I am without my MIE friends all around the world, really. So, and please give me the opportunity to say thank you, and really a huge thank you to their friendship all around the world, and to name some of them, but they are the most important for me. This is my dear Emma from Sweden, Stephen and Catherine from Scotland, Ian Lloyd from Wales, Alison from Canada, Becky Keane, Steve, Tammy Dunbar, Kirsten Messer from the US, Steve Sherman from South Africa, Marie Giovedone from Argentina, from Finland, Pia, Paula, and Pekka. And by the way, I listened to the podcast with Pekka. Then Anna from Hungary, Lucas from Poland, Marjolin from the Netherlands, and of course, Mike Tolson and Sonja de la Fosse, and many, many more. Okay, but how did these friendships start? Well, actually, I have to say a huge thank you to Susanna Jilka. She is a good friend of mine from Austria and also an MIE. And she introduced me to Cohen Timmers. He is a teacher, or he was a teacher from Belgium, and his climate action project. I'm sure you have heard of it. We had to work together, and about 10 years ago, I participated in this project. And at that time, we were about 60 countries from around the world. And at the end, and by the way, today, this year, there are about 162 countries participating in this project. And at the end, we were invited to set up Skype calls to collaborate with other schools about our finding and how we can help to reduce the speed of the climate change. And one of these schools was in Canada. And we had a wonderful call with Alison and her class at Timmins High School. And the funny thing is, it happened that this call was recorded and broadcast on a local TV channel. And when I told this my students, they couldn't believe it, and that they were really on a Canadian TV show. And they still, really, 10 years later, they still talk about it, how funny it was and how impressive it was that they were on this TV show. And they really deserved it to be there. Another example would be my collaboration with Steve Auslander. He's from the US, and every year before Christmas, he organizes a dreidel competition. Dreidel is a game played by Jewish children, mainly before Christmas. And last year, we played together with Steve and his students from South Africa, students from Ireland, and of course, the students from Steve in America. Actually, a friend from Israel should have played with us too, but due to the war, sadly, it was not possible. And as I mentioned, Steve Sherman from South Africa, please let me also allow to give a third example why the friendship is so important for me. Steve has been organizing a Kahoot game for students all around the world for the last couple of years. And it's really so heartwarming seeing all of these students answering the same questions and competing with joy and really eagerness. And I really love to quote Steve because he always says, we are more alike than different. And I think this is one of the most important things that you can teach your children, your students, that we are one world, we are one people, and yes, there is not so much difference between us, and this is really really important for me. And I could go on with many more examples where we collaborated, and tell you name teachers who really try to support their children and their kids in learning from the bottom of their hearts. And if you're still listening to this podcast, and I hope you really will, you could get the impression that my students are only playing all the time and having fun. Well, of course, I stick to my curriculum, and they learn how to solve equations, probabilities, how the European Union works, and so on and so on. But if you put these topics, and let me call them more or less the boring stuff, well, although it's far away from boring, and okay, I have to say this because I'm a math teacher, but if you put this boring stuff in the correct setting, let's say I'll play a Kahoot and ask all the students for the formulas of areas and circumferences. It's much more fun for them to play it as a game, as it looks like, instead of writing them on a piece of paper. So the other thing they learn is not only the math formulas, but also, if you play Kahoot, to read quickly and properly. So they don't only learn the math stuff, but also reading and thinking, I would say. And it's also scientifically proven that the more a student works self-employed instead of copying something or only learning it by heart, he remembers the topic much better and longer. So I always try to put some fun in my lessons. That's for me very, very important. So I want them to feel good in my classes. To summarize my statements, when I see the spark in my students' eyes, I'm really proud of them and also myself, because I would see this as my professional growth as an educator, which I couldn't have gained without my MIEE community. And they supported me and encouraged me all the time to stick to my principles and my ideas. And that's what I really want to say. A big, big thank you to all of you out there who believe in me and give me the energy to go on with what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really heartwarming. Like you said, being part of the MIE expert community has fueled your passion for education by connecting yourself with like-minded educators worldwide. And like you mentioned about a significant experience involved collaboration on a climate action project, wherein you were invited, to join over a Skype call with a school in Canada. And this call was even broadcasted on a Canadian TV show, that creating a sense of global unity there. And additionally, like using tools like Kahoot to foster friendly competition between students highlights the heartwarming realization that despite differences, we are more alike than different, like you said. And you also mentioned about the area and volume and the math concepts, that help students to become more engaged. I remember in my school, so we've been using Minecraft for quite a long time now, and my principal conducted a case study using my lessons. So as part of the research for her master's thesis, she conducted a case study with one of the classes, and that had around 30 students from the K3 standard and 30 from the K4. And she wanted to observe a significant difference in achievement in maths between the groups that were taught through Minecraft versus traditional learning. So first, students were tested after the teacher taught the lesson in the traditional manner using a worksheet. And then the ones who did not perform well, they were asked to play it in a form of a game, in a tutorial inside Minecraft. And after playing, the children were evaluated on the topic of area and volume. So the teacher had made different kind of blocks in shapes of square, a rectangle, triangle, and cuboid. And she wrote the questions for students in Minecraft's book and quill feature. and students read the questions and answered on boards placed by the teacher inside the game. So not only did the gaming platform clear up their concepts, but also they enjoyed the experience at the same time. And if I remember, I think 70% of the students showed achievements in the math results. And the difference in performance helped motivate the students to learn maths. And even the school team reflected that the need to recreate the mathematics curriculum along the same lines so that in the future, students' interest and the scores through technology increase in their teaching methods. So that's what I could relate to as you were talking about, how you engage students in the maths concepts. So again, it's how you use amazing tools together in teaching, incorporate the ICT skills, and make sure even the boring subjects become the most interesting ones. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on
Well,
to another fun question.
Yeah. I tried to play Minecraft, but I can't because I really get crazy when I look from the sky to the. I really get. I can't do it. It's really it's impossible for me. I really get sick. It's really funny. Yeah, I tried to, but no, this is for Steve, but not for
I mean,
me.
you can try swimming in the ocean.
Okay.
That will feel better.
Yeah.
Right. Of course. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite holiday destination?
Oh, that's very, very easy for me to answer. If you don't find me any longer in Austria, you should look for me in Sweden. I really fell in love with Sweden, not only because of Emma, but also with the scenery, the people, and everything over there. This year, I spent my holiday in Denmark, but then I thought, no, I think I have to jump to Sweden, and I took the ferry from Frederikshavn to Gothenburg, and then stayed 3 days in Gothenburg and met with Emma, and we had a fabulous time, and it was really wonderful. And yeah, it's Sweden and only Sweden.
Wow, that's so sweet. Well, my favorite destination would be just the neighbor of Sweden. It's Finland. I've been there thrice, and I've met like Mr. Pekka Auli, and we've had like a lot of
Yes, I've been to
collaborations as well.
Finland.
So,
Yeah,
how's your experience
I've
been?
been to Finland, I think 3 years ago. Finland was quite interesting for me because I didn't imagine that there are so many trees and so much forest.
Yeah.
But I met with Paula Forne and Pia Matikainen, and we had so much fun up there. So yeah.
No, absolutely. I would agree. The forest cover in Finland shocked me too. Like, the first time I went there was in 2019. So it was like a fully white cover,
Mm-hmm.
snow covered forest area. Second time I was going there, it
Okay.
was during summer. So I could see the forest cover. And like, third time also was during like a transition to summer. So, like, seeing the forest cover there, like, just attracts me to the beauty of Finland. And I really want to see the Northern Lights, though. That's on my bucket list. Even though I've been there thrice, I haven't gotten the chance to see
Mm-hmm.
it. So the Northern Lights and Lapland, of course, to meet Santa Claus. Anybody would love to, keep that in mind when they go to Finland. Right. Okay. So my last question for you is, what is your vision for the future of education? And how do you think technology will shape classrooms over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think the way how we teach and also what we teach has to change. This kind of way, you can get all the informations on the internet or with KI. So this is no problem if you want to look up some special things. To my mind, I think we have to focus more on how students get to this information. So the key word would be fake news, and how they present and work with this information. So because I think writing a paper, you can't neither eliminate technology or KI nor negate it. So I would say we have it and we have to cope with it. But especially we as teachers have the duty to show our students that technology can help and support us in many ways in our lives. And of course, there are always two sides of the medal. But I always stick to the good one, to the good side. And without technology, we couldn't have done.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can see how you envision a future of education that emphasizes, not only what we have to teach, but also how students, access and verify information. And as the classrooms evolve over the next 5 to 10 years, we see technology playing a very critical role in ensuring students can discern credible information from fake news. Additionally, like they believe it is, quite essential to help teachers adapt to the rise of AI and providing them with the knowledge and tools to effectively integrate AI into the teaching practices, while we're ensuring both educators and students can cope with the benefits and get the most out of it from these advancements. Thank you so much for sharing that. And before we end today's discussion, we would love to know where we can find you online and what message would you like to give to the audience that is listening to us right now.
I would say really thank you having me for this podcast or in this podcast. I'm very proud and I feel very privileged. And all the best to you and your exams. And I really hope to see you soon in the near future in Austria or in England or in India. We'll see. All the best.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And listening to you today has reminded me of this fact that we can empower students with the right tools and knowledge, and they'll not only navigate the future, they'll of course shape it. So thank you so much for having, for coming on the podcast. It was lovely talking to you today, Ms. Gudrun. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining and listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one, teach them, have a nice day.